Hey guys, so I recently crossed 20 years old and I noticed that I've been being recommended to videos on how to get wealthy in your 20s. And I'll agree some of those ideas are good, but the issue I found was that most of those persons making those videos were persons that were older than 20. And I feel they fell short in some areas because who knows a 20-year-old like a 20-year-old. And the thing is, your 20s is the best time to set up yourself financially with all the upsides and little to no downside. So here are the best ways to start accumulating wealth in your 20s. Just remember to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Or that's it. Let's begin. Right off the bat, the first thing every 20-year-old should have is a bank account. Alright, look at it this way. Think of your bank account as your first official. It's like the stepping stone to your future. A bank account, preferably an equity account, is legit one of the best things you can do in your 20s. The only thing is that they ask for a lot of things in the beginning, but once you get all of those requirements, it's actually pretty smooth sailing from there. Just try to deposit a little money consistently over time. Alright, the second thing to do in order to start get some real momentum is to get as much job experience as you can possibly get. I just believe that your 20s is where you should try out as much different jobs as you can. Learn how different careers ins and out works, and each job will give you a set of skills that you can use to leverage to get another job. But try to get something. It can even be voluntary service where you can go to different organizations and just simply offer your service for free. And the thing is, you will learn what you like to do and what you're good at and what you're bad at. For me, my first job was when I was in high school and I worked at a retail store where it was just really a lot of lifting, but I liked it. However, I knew that I would have to start doing a job that requires me to use more of my brains and less of my physical body. And then after that, I landed a job in a government agency where my primary job was to find and refile misplaced documents. And I enjoyed the hunt for those missing documents. And when I found it and everything was in order, it was just like a sense of relief. And in that job enabled me to get a job at a bank where I basically do a combination of my two previous jobs, which is going through archives and finding transactions. And this is why I say it's important to start acquiring skills in your 20s through job experience. This will put you in a position leaps and bounds compared to other 20-year-olds, because look at it this way. A business might be okay to train you for free unless it's different tasks for them because, well, it's free labor. So think about it. Let's say you finally want that job, like you're out of college and you want a job now. You can try to apply for that same initial business that you were doing voluntary service for. And the thing is, you'll have a higher chance of getting that particular job compared to someone new. Even if it's just an internship and they don't pay much, it's still something, because most early 20-year-olds live with their parents. So let's say you get paid $10,000, then you get paid the same $10,000. You don't have to worry about rent or any living expenses, so you will be able to do anything you want really. But I know I personally was destined to be an entrepreneur, because even though I enjoyed working as an intern, it got mentally boring for me as I never really felt I was putting too much value into the world, and pay wasn't even that good, to be honest. The third thing to do is invest everything that you make. So you see that bank account that we created, it's time to use it. So you could open an equity account and start buying some stocks. And I would suggest that you buy into an index fund that tracks specific markets or just overall stock market, because investing might be a bit tricky. But if you want to learn more about investing, then click right there. But I remember the first time I learned about compound interest, like literally $1 invested at 20 years old at a 7% interest is going to worth $21 when you're ready to retire at 65 years old. However, if you waited just 10 years longer and invested that same $1, it would only worth $10.68 by the time you're 65. That means your money in your 20s is worth twice as much as when you're in your 30s. Right now, I'm just investing as much as I can now, because I know in the future it will be worth more. Just a little advice, just don't panic sell when you see the prices fluctuate in the stock market. Just continue to hold and continue to buy more when the prices are low, because Look at it this way. If you could get a Ferrari for $100,000 today, and then tomorrow you see that same Ferrari selling for $50,000. Nothing's wrong with it. Same Ferrari, just a different day. Would you want the Ferrari for the 50,000 or the 100,000? Next thing to do in order to build wealth like really fast is start a business and try making it mobile. This just simply means that you can create a business that does not require a fixed specific location. And yeah, while 90% of startups fail, the internet has made the playing field a bit more leveled, where you can run a multi-million-dollar business from anywhere in the world with just a laptop and a Wi-Fi connection. Just like this guy, Graham Stefan, who makes millions off his YouTube channel. And understand that even if a business fails and you make no money, you will still leave the situation with some levels of experience that you can use to guide in your next business venture. Just understand that you're in your 20s. If you try something and you fail, it's okay. You have time to rebuild and recover. You could probably work 80 hours a week because you probably don't have much to do otherwise, and you probably don't have a family to support or bills to pay. Plus, you can physically and mentally do it because you are young and healthy. So don't be afraid to start over. This time you're not starting from scratch, you're starting from experience. Here is the idea. If you're planning to live in the same place for a long while, I would suggest you try investing into real estate, where you can buy a duplex or a multifamily home and do house hacking, where you legit live in half the house and let your tenant pay the rest, which can be used to cover the mortgage. And if you live in Jamaica, if you throw a contribution for a year, you will get qualified for a loan of $6.5 million to build or buy a house. And as an additional bonus, you can start a YouTube channel and do house tours of your home, even if it's in the building phase, and use the ad revenues to help pay for some of the expenses, like what some YouTubers do. And in time, you can move out of that house, rent the full unit, and buy a different one, and just repeat the process over and over again. Now, after you start building wealth and experience, continue to live like you're broke for the rest of your 20s. Like legit, your 20s are like your free pass where you can live like you're broke, because no one expects you to actually have anything anyways. You could live with your parents, you can live with a roommate, you can drive an old car, you can be super cheap and live in a less desirable part of town, and no one would really care. Try doing that in your 40s and 50s and people like legit lose their mind. So know that you are young, you should use it to your advantage, because no one really cares. So use it until it starts getting a little bit weird. Yeah, I know when you start making money, you are going to want to enjoy the finer things in life, and nothing is wrong with that. Just don't fall for lifestyle inflation, which is basically you spending as much money as you make. So just don't really raise your expenses. Save and invest all your money, and before you notice, your money will start making money for you. Just look at it this way. If you want to buy something, then figure out how much money you will need invested to buy said desire. The next thing to do is have multiple streams of income. This is really important, because having multiple streams of income helps to boost and protect you from certain possibilities. Like for example, let's say that you had one stream of income, your job, and then your boss fired you. You would have no way to really pay your bills or find food. But let's say you had a side hustle as well. You would be able to fall back on it. And say you never actually got fired, you would have had 2 ways money coming into you. So just think about it. Imagine having 3, 4, 5 streams of income. And the thing is, that's how millionaires actually make their money. Oh, and also stay out about debt. This is like just borrowing money to buy stuff that don't necessarily make back money for you in some way, shape or form. Because if you cannot afford it, do not borrow to actually buy if it's not going to produce back income for you. And the last thing to do is journal your progress. Oftentimes we as young adults tend to underappreciate how far we are coming from. And journaling every win, every success, every failure, every process is important. It helps to keep you motivated and also helps to track your progress. Case in point, last year I was like in $250,000 in debt because I had scammed. that's that. If you're interested in that video, link up in the description. Probably make a part 2, but that's that. But no, I am up about, I think a little bit over $250,000 now in assets. So it's good to keep track of everything that happens in your life. I don't mean like everything, just everything that you know, something you try and you fail, or something you try and you succeed. Just keep track of it. And that is it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. Love you guys. Catch you in the next video. Peace.